Hello students, today we are going to study about morphology of flowering plants. So here we have the structure of a plant or the diagram of a plant that shows the various parts of the main parts of a plant. Here very first is starting from the lower parts, that is we have roots. There are two type of roots, primary and secondary roots. So this is our root system. Then we have this is the root system. Then we have a structure named as bud that is present at the axial part of the leaf. Then we have internode. Internode is a part between the two terminal stems, between two lateral branches. Then we have node. Node is the part from where the leaf arises. Then we have leaf, the main stem, the fruits. This is termed as a shoot system. This is termed as a shoot system. Next, in this slide we have morphology of roots. Morphology, today we are going to study about the modifications of root, stem and leaf. Okay, roots and stem. So let us study firstly we are going to study about the root. Root is defined as the descending part of the plant axis. It is a positively geotrophic. It shows positive geotropism, positive hydrotropism, negative phototropism. Root arises from the radicle. Roots are generally non-green and cylindrical. They produce only similar organs, that is secondary and tertiary roots. They do not show node and internodes. Here we have the three different reasons of the root. The very first reason, that is a reason of root cap. A cap-like structure is present here, that is the root cap. And this we have the root cap. This is it's like the nib of a pen. Then we have the reason of the cell division. We have the reason of elongation, that is also termed as the reason of cell division. Then we have the reason of elongation, and in the end we have the reason of elongation. The reason of elongation is that part that elongates, and it is a part of the highly meristematic activity. The reason of root cap is it includes the multicellular cap-like structure that secretes mucilage for the lubrication of the passage of the root through the soil. Reason of cell division, this is a growing part of the root and is protected by the root cap. It contains the compactly arranged meristematic cells. The reason of elongation lies just above the meristematic region. This region it elongates very rapidly, or it is involved in increasing the length of the root. Next, we have the functions of roots. There are two type of roots, primary and secondary. So the functions are concerned with their names also. The primary root, the main function of the root is anchorage. Anchorage means that is in fixation to the substratum. It helps in binding the plant to the soil. Absorption of water and minerals is also the main prime function. And then we have the conduction of the absorbed materials up to the whole plant, to the body of the complete plant, to the base or the stem of the stem. Secondary, what are the secondary functions? In some plants the roots can also act as a food. They act as a storage roots. They store the food. So the examples of the storage of food material root is when it is fleshy and swollen. Example is carrot, radish, sweet potato, dahlia. After becoming green, they manufacture food by photosynthesis like tinospora, trapa, orchids. These are the examples. Some roots helps in exchange of gases like pneumatophores in rhizophora. Some parasitic plants like cuscuta adventitious roots penetrate into the whose stem to obtain the food and water. Sometimes root also takes place in vegetative reproduction like sweet potato. There are aerial roots also which perform different type of functions. Then we have certain images of the roots where they are modified. Very first is a tap root, and the another one is there are two type of roots, tap root and fibrous root. The tap root develops from the radicle of an embryo during seed formation, seed germination, that is true or tap root. This is a main primary root. Its branches of the first order are called as secondary roots, and the third next order are secondary order are tertiary roots. It is found in case of mustard. Presence of taproot system is a characteristic feature of dicot plants. Okay, they develop or they grows vertically downwards. We have the morphology of before that we have fibrous roots arise from one point, one origin, and they develops similarly. Okay, there is no primary, secondary, and tertiary parts or roots further. Morphology of roots, in this we have modifications. There are two type of modifications of roots. Very first is a tap root, another one is adventitious roots. Taproot act as a storage of food, stored food, and respiration. The adventitious roots act as a storage of food, support, and they perform special functions. Modifications of taproot. When some roots act as a storage of food, the examples are radish, beetroot, carrot. These are the examples of taproot. Then we have different type of roots as a storage food. Here we have three different type of roots: fusiform roots, conical roots, napiform roots. The examples of these are, very first is radish. When the stored root is swollen in the middle and tapers at the base or the apex. When the stored root is broader at the base and gradually tapers toward the apex, then that is conical. Okay, the example of fusiform is radish, conical is carrot, and the napiform example of napiform is beet. Okay, the storage root, which is much swollen and almost spherical and abruptly tapers around the apex, that is napiform roots. We have certain modifications of taproot. They are pneumatophores that represent in mangrove plants or plants which are found in swamp or marshy areas. They are also known as halophytes. These are roots are known as pneumatophores. They are grown, they show negative geotropism, grows upward, outward direction from the soil in the upward direction to get the sufficient oxygen. As we have lenticels also in the stem for the gaseous exchange, but in roots there are no such kind of cells, so they grows outward. Then we have the certain other modification of adventitious roots. That is mechanical support. When the prop roots, the example is prop roots. You may have seen in banyan tree that we have horizontal branching arises downwards, vertically downwards. They penetrate the soil. Secondary growth occur in these roots so that they become thick and act as a pillar. Climbing roots may also be present in certain plants that plays role for support and climbing. For example, money plant. We have another example is the stilt root. They are present in sugarcane, maize, bajra, jawar. These roots arise from the lower nodes of the weak stem in the monocots, shrubs, and small trees. They grow obligatory downwards and penetrate the soil and provide mechanical support to the plant. Then we have stem. As you know, stem is the main part, aerial part of the plant. That stem we have that arises from the plumule. It arises from a part named as develops from plumule, and it is ascending part of the plant axis. It shows negative hydrotropism, negative geotropism. That means water is provided to the soil and it develops, it moves in opposite direction against gravity, that is negative geotropism. Positive phototropism, that is towards light. It bears a terminal bud and axillary buds and is differentiated into node and internodes. We have different type of birds: vegetative bird and floral birds. The birds which develop from the branches are vegetative. The bird which develops from flowers are floral birds. These vegetative birds further are apical, axillary, accessory, and adventitious. What are the functions of stem? The stem also plays very important role, but the primary function of the stem is to provide support. That means it bears branches, leaves and flowers and fruits, so it acts as a support to all these assess other aerial parts. It is also involved in conduction of water and minerals to the different parts of the plant. It acts as a storage of food and water, proliferation and propagation in supporting and perennation, that is to tide over the unfavorable conditions, and in the synthesis of food as well. The three different type of modifications of stem are underground, subaerial and aerial. Underground include rhizome, that is found in ginger, tuber, example potato, corm, bulb, the example of bulb is onion, runners, stolon, offset, sucker. Aerial, example of aerial modification of the root is tendril, thorns, phyloclade, clade and cladoid and bulbil. The very first modification of stem is tubers. Tubers are the actually swollen ends that are the special swollen underground branches due to the storage of food. The tubers show nodes and internodes or eye buds that give rise to the new plant. The tubers help in vegetative propagation in case of potato, that is Salinum tuberosum. Bulb. Bulb is condensed disc-like underground stem which itself doesn't store food material. The upper surface of this stem is conical and bears centrally placed apical buds. The inner scale leaves or the leaf bases store food and they are thick, and while the outer one is scaly leaves that remain thin and dry are protective. So bulb and bulbils are present in onion and garlic. Corm. Corm is a short, stout, fleshy, upright, thickened underground stem that may be seen in example is RB and Jimmy Gunn. Stem tendril, that is the aerial modification. As you know that the stem in certain plants they need a spring like structure to climb. So tendril help the plant to attach itself to the support and climb. They are found in plants with weak stem, which are leafless coil structures with adhesive glands for fixation. The example is Passiflora, cucurbita. These are the examples. Thorns. Thorns is again itself a hard pointed, usually straight structure produced by modification of auxiliary bud. Leaves, branches and flowers are developed on thorns at the node and indicating it is a modified stem. The thorns you may have seen in the bougainvillea, citrus family, that is lemon. In lemon and bougainvillea you may have seen thorns that helps in protection against browsing animals. The next we have offset. Offset and suckers are also the modification of aerial stem. The offsets may be seen in aquatic plant, that is a water hyacinth, and it is also a vegetative we can say propagule for the reproduction, a sexual mode of reproduction. Suckers are the runner like non-green branch which develops from the axial scale leaves in the underground part of the stem. It grows horizontally below the soil for some distance and it is found in mint and chrysanthemum. Then we have runners. The runners are the special narrow green horizontal prostrate branches which develops at the base. An example is lawn grass and hydrocotyle.